I'm back. Who wants to go racing? I don't have time for slow internet. That's why I use ShopLink in the description below to shop fast, reliable internet from trusted providers near you. Every time you open your computer or turn on your phone, the world at large is insane and there's nothing good happening. But that's not fair to say, because for me, two great things have happened. One, I have this 1965 Corvette Roadster race car. It's a little long in the tooth, but I'm gonna fix it up and go racing at Watkins Glen next month. Because something else great happened. And the SVRA has new leadership and new direction. That is the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, which I fell in love with way back in 2005 when I graduated college and drove my 1957 Devon on the road all the way to Mid-Ohio, raced it, and then drove home. So I'm looking forward to letting the good times roll and bringing old memories back. But I don't have a lot of time right now, and I've got a little one at home, and a new little one, so I need a buddy. And I called my buddy Mike Meyer from Indianapolis. Mike, where are you? Save me!
What's happening?
What's up, dude? Thanks for coming out. You've been running what, Silver Crown and Sprint cars for clients this year?
Yes, yeah. Been running with Nathan Bird as the driver.
Nice. And you've done that with some chassis that were built by other people as well as your own chassis.
For sure. Yeah. No, we had to start out with a Beast chassis in the Silver Crown, and that got destroyed at Winchester by 50-cent screw.
Cut the tire?
Oh yeah. Just a little 50-cent screw destroys a $150,000 race car. You know,
That ain't fun.
It's sickening.
But you've got what, you're the fourth generation of your family.
Yes.
So I really don't feel bad for you because your great granddad won Indy 3 times and the rest of you all went completely insane and have been in American open wheel racing since that time.
But just been trying to keep up with what he started.
I shouldn't start off on this foot. You were going to bust my balls.
What's that?
I'm working on the Corvette.
Yeah. No, I'm when you called me, I was excited about it. I mean, this with the new leadership at SVRA and I mean, it's like you got a new lease on life, you know, renewed vigor, and I just got me excited about it too, and I'm ready to start working on this thing.
Yeah, man, I gotta be honest. I was about done with vintage race cars and building. I was just like, that's it. I'm just gonna have a few. And when I started to find out there's gonna be good times ahead, I'm like, that's it. We're going racing again. Yeah. So anyway, buddy, I bought this thing cheap because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a cheap man. I don't know how old any of the crap on this car is. So the first thing we need to do is look at it and find out everything that's wrong with it.
Let's do it.
But you're missing a key opportunity to make fun of me.
Oh man, what's that? I'm a little slow. I'm a little slow today.
Well, it's got a lot of pretty stickers on it, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's where you're supposed to make fun of me for putting stickers on it, trying to make it look pretty before I make anything work.
Well, you gotta. It's motivation. You put your stickers on it, so then you come out and look and be like, man, I got to get that thing done.
You are darn right. Plus, it adds horsepower. I'm going to need all I can get for the competition. So how about this? How about we start tearing this thing apart on time lapse? You said you had to go to your truck?
Yeah, I'm being nice to Casey. Usually my butt crack ends up hanging out, so I brought me some suspenders, and so when I'm all working on the car, I don't have to worry about it. It's a big guy problem.
Since you say you're going to be on YouTube now.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, dude, I got something else for you. I got a coat hanger, magnet, and a bungee cord. Mike, you think you make do with that? Let's go with the really bad and shocking first. What'd you find?
Please don't use a carriage bolt on automotive deals. I mean, it's bent. Then the best part of
Oh, yeah, but wait, where was it?
in the back of the seat,
So
holding the seat in the car.
that's the only thing that affixed the back of the seat where your spine is to the frame or something structural in the car, right?
Well, this is what they used for a spacer, which you can tell they're pretty big nuts here. And that was...
So what you're saying is if I went and drove this car now and spun around 180 degrees and backed it into a wall, that bolt and those nuts would be going immediately through my spine.
Into your spine, yes.
Okay.
It wouldn't be good, man.
Okay.
It wouldn't be good.
So what do we learn? What should people learn from this? We already know this lesson.
Yeah, it's... Oh, and this was next to it, too.
Oh, give me that.
We got a free wrench.
That's mine. So what you're saying is use good engineering practices?
Well, just, I mean,
Because-
common sense. It's just common sense.
Yeah, I'll just say this. So the thing that's great about racing in general, vintage racing, the right to repair your own stuff in America is we can fix our own stuff.
Yes.
But we need to give some consideration of what we're doing, so it's not a problem. Now, that being said, this was done a very long time ago, and I don't think this is representative of vintage racing as a whole,
No,
and amateurs even doing their stuff. It was just something we found that we wanted to bring up, and this should be a moment for everybody to give consideration to what's going on.
Yeah.
But in general, the best way for everybody to be safe is to build your car well, so it drives well, brakes well, steers well, and the people out there have got their heads screwed on straight, so there's no loose nut behind the wheel.
Well, I mean, and the big thing, too, is we all have a phone. We all have the internet at our fingertips. And if you don't know something, you can Google it. You can look it up. How to mount a
Don't use AI.
Yeah, don't use AI.
All right, let's look at what do we need to do. You got some notes here. Go, just bang them off.
Start off with...
I wrote that down too. I'm thinking inner bushings on all the front arms, maybe pivot points and the rods on the rear suspension.
You got sway bar, main suspensions, like you talked about the rear leaf spring.
Yeah, they're all old rubber and cracking.
Yeah, we need to use like the polyurethane bushings.
Okay. Shocks.
Yeah, new shocks.
These are non-adjustable old.
Yeah,
God knows what.
And you don't even know what they're gonna do. So you need
If they
something,
work.
Yeah, so you need something that you're confident in.
Okay.
Studs, rear studs.
Right here, baby.
Yeah, you got those.
Well, studs on the rear are smaller diameter than the front.
Smaller diameter. Yeah.
So you think we ought to do the rear?
Yeah,
Make
need
the
to do the
same?
rear for
All
sure. Every joint you need to take a look at.
They're there.
Yeah.
You want me to look at them?
You feel them, you touch them, put grease in them maybe.
It's getting weird. Move on.
Decide if you want to do a drive shaft loop.
Would you like to tell the audience at home what that is?
Well, your U-joint can break, or your drive shaft can break, and it can come through the floor and attack you. So you need a loop to keep it from, it's like a cage, just keep it from coming after you.
Why does this conversation remind me of an ex-girlfriend?
And I think we want to go to a new master cylinder.
Because that's got the old-timey cast one. It's all the same thing?
Yeah, and basically it's feeding off the same reservoir, and we like to have two separate reservoirs, so in case if there's any issue, piece of debris and knock a brake line off, at least you have one end working for you.
What you're saying is the old-timey one, if you lose front or rear, you lose everything.
You lose everything, and it's code brown.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then...
What's code brown?
You poop your pants.
Okay.
Yep. We need to get new seats, obviously. Mm-hmm. Maybe some more period correct ones.
Yeah, I'm going to go period correct. You know me.
Okay, yeah. So make sure the seat belts are fit properly. Obviously need new belts.
Yeah.
So...
Tires.
Tires,
I'm going to get me some.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep
New battery, and we needed a better way of holding the battery down. Had no...
And by better, you mean more than nothing that
More
is
than
currently
nothing
out.
at all.
Okay,
yeah,
let's keep
yeah.
going.
Check what gear is in the rear end.
Oh, we ought to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fire system, exactly.
Fuel cell.
Fuel cell.
Not a fan of fire.
No, we don't want that. Yeah, get a nice like steel encased cell.
Yeah.
Like good. Were those SFI?
Yeah.
Type deal.
As per rules. Plus, Angela Savage would never forgive me if I didn't look after those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. The side pipes don't fit too good.
No, they're a little. Yeah.
It's all tight, and it's
Yeah.
going to start melting the fiberglass. So I think we need to
You know what'd be cool?
cut the header back there, move it out a little. What you talking about?
This thing isn't there moldings that go on this car?
Yeah. The old stock stuff.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be, put those on and move the headers out, put those on?
Well, I couldn't. It looked really good, but your dad would make fun of us. He'd call us a dog and pony show or something.
He won't know.
It looks so pretty.
He won't know.
All right. Don't tell Butch.
Yeah, don't tell Butch.
Okay, what else we got? We're going to finish this car pretty darn period correct.
Yeah.
We're not trying to set the world on fire. We just want a good representation of 1965 small block racing Corvette.
Yeah.
So I might put a couple of original emblems and stuff back on just to give more of a vibe. Like, yeah, this is an off,
Yeah.
out of the showroom floor car, put a roll cage in and did the stuff and go run. Just a little nostalgia, you know?
Yeah.
All right, what, the shift boot's jank, the steering wheel's jank.
Firewall. We have to seal off the front firewall and got to make a new rear firewall.
And this is more of a fire picket fence right now.
Yeah.
I don't like those valve covers and breathers.
Yeah.
It's like a circle track thing.
Yeah. No, it'd be cool to go. I wonder if they have. Well, they probably have some period correct ones that would fit on this.
Yeah, do something fancy. Oh, by the way, we're talking about your dad. Who all was he the engine builder for in his career?
Well, I mean, he started building engines when he was 10 years old, which is ridiculous.
And that was probably on Offenhausers or something.
Offenhausers, dual overhead cam Fords. He was a part of the original Elmore Chevy project.
Didn't somebody come up to your granddad and said, I don't want that 4-cam Ford if that kid's been working on it?
Yeah, what happened was he would hone all the rods. He'd basically redo all the rods. And a gentleman came in, racer, and was like, "Did you do that work on my stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he thought he deserved a discount because he had a 12-year-old doing the work for him. So, that's not the case.
Okay. So, well, who else?
He's part of the, like I said, the original Elmore project with the Chevy. He went over to England and did that. He's probably built over 500 Cosworth engines, IndyCar engines in his time.
Did he work for Menard?
He ran Team Menard, the engine shop. And, oh man, it was like 100 and some pole positions, and he knows all the stats right off the top of his head.
You know what I'm thinking now?
Yeah.
We should just lean into making him have a head smacking moment. We should just look like we don't know what we're doing, so he has to come help us.
There you go.
Make the power. That's smart. That's smart. Sure. Don't anybody tell him.
Yeah. I want to take all the sheet metal screws out of this thing.
Oh, God. You mean the self-tappers that are everywhere?
Yeah. It's just, I have a real problem with sheet metal screws because, like I said, earlier, took my race car out. So I have a real phobia with them.
Oh, the one at Winchester?
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got? Yeah, we got to redo the dash. The dash is jank. The gauges seem to work, but they're laid out terribly. I'm going to redo those.
Okay. The oil tank.
Oh, yeah.
Need to make sure it's secured properly. It seems a little
wobbly.
Yeah, and then probably got to make a place to actually be able to drain the oil because it looks like they were just draining it into the tub of the vehicle.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. There is no hole underneath the oil tank. So they were, in fact, just draining the oil into what used to be a storage compartment of the fiberglass of this car, and then they let it run out another hole that is not underneath the one that you would think you would put.
And the oil tank, the breather's just running into the back of the cockpit. So,
well, it used to be running through a hole in the back of the cockpit to the outside of the car with no catch can, and I pulled it thinking there might be something there, and there wasn't.
There wasn't.
To be fair, though, it's a pretty damn good car for what I got it for.
No, for sure. I mean,
as an example for people out there, obviously C2 Corvettes are worth a lot of money because they're an icon, they're great cars, and in racing, you do get what you pay for in terms of build. But I bought this for $26,000, I think. Yeah. And that is a running, driving car.
No, for sure.
So if we have to put a little time and money into it, I think it already is pretty well representative. It's been a race car. A lot of people have had a lot of good memories in it. Yeah. And I think it's just time to breathe some new life into it. I would say it's time for me to spend a lot of money on parts.
I would agree.
Okay, so we're in Ohio. Yeah. My choice, let's just go on the Summit Racing website and start buying stuff.
Yeah, I like going to Summit.
When you take an old car, fix it up, and chase your dreams, it's important to have places like Summit Racing available to you so you can order parts fast and easy with an awesome return policy for a good price. Frankly, ordering from Summit is one of the few things that actually has made my life easier when I'm chasing my dreams for many, many years. Because for this Corvette project, it's effectively a one-stop shop. So I hope you will go down in the description below and of course click summitracing.com, visit their store, and patronize them because they make all of our lives easier when we're chasing our dreams. Well, guys, that's it for the first of 5 videos on preparing the 1965 small block Corvette race car for Watkins Glen with my buddy Mike Meyer. Thanks for helping out, dude.
No, it was awesome. I greatly appreciate the invitation, and this is it's gonna be fun.
It's bro time, building cars, all American, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Getting back to fun life.
Exactly.
Anyway, so we already got darn near everything I bet we're going to need from Summit coming, and I expect it's going to arrive tomorrow. Frankly, I'm really looking forward to getting back to Watkins Glen with the SVRA. I think it's a whole breath of fresh air. That is the big vintage Grand Prix with the downtown festival on Friday night. There's something like 100 race cars will leave the track at Watkins Glen with a police escort to downtown Watkins Glen, the village on the lake. There'll be 20, 30,000 people. And then when the cars stop and park on the main street right there, everybody gets to walk around, have a great time. Yeah. And then a little bit later, everybody will go back to the sidewalks and all throughout the countryside, and the cars will reenact by cruising through the countryside on, I believe it's about a 5-mile course that was the original race back in, say, like the 1950s.
That's awesome.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah. Just one of those all-American deals. But I haven't been there in darn near 15 years. How about you?
Yeah, I haven't been there since I think 2018. So that was the last time I was there. And it's beautiful. It's an amazing racetrack.
Where were you running back then?
Indy Lights cars. We were running, working with Bilardi Autosport. And
you guys won a few back then, didn't
we
you?
actually won that year too.
Oh, so, did you?
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Okay, well, right on. Well, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously, guys, this is a soulful journey for me because 2 weeks after I graduated college, I had my 57 Devon I was proud of that I'd finished the restoration of, and drove it on the street to Mid-Ohio, raced it, camped out, drove it home. So kind of getting back to my roots there. So happy about that. And of course, huge thanks to ShopLink, of course, Next Gen Car Care, and Summit Racing for making this possible. We're going to explore more about them in the future, but let's go racing.
Yeah, let's go.